Hey NitroX campers, I'm Corey Hins. I'm from the Central Lakes camp. I'm one of the mentors there. And today we're going to talk about some of the telemetry and AI components of RC cars and how they've gotten into that industry and how they may relate to the real world. So one of the biggest ones is Traxxas has a feature called Traxxas Stability Management. This feature has somewhat of a built-in gyro, detects the yaw rate of a vehicle and auto-corrects it. It's completely adjustable on the radio, so you have a dial on a radio where you can turn the TSM, we'll just call it TSM, Traxxas Stability Management. You can turn that completely off. You can dial in whatever percentage you want, all the way up to 100% on the radio. What that will do is, when you're on throttle, it doesn't do anything with throttle or brake control. It's strictly steering. What that will do is when you're on power, you can adjust how much correction and adjustment you need based on the surface you're running on. So if you're on high traction, maybe you don't need the adjustment because you got good traction. If you're on a slippery surface, maybe you want more AI, more adjustment, more radio gyro controlled adjustment to help you get through that slippery stuff. So how does TSM work? What are the components? The radio, and within the vehicle, there's a receiver. Right inside the receiver box, this receiver is specific to TSM. It's got the built-in yaw controls. So, for example, if I were to turn the radio on, and I'll plug in the battery here. Always turn your radio on first, plug in your battery, and then turn on your control, your receiver. Now what the TSM does, you can see kind of a little bit the tires are quivering, but if I were going into a slide or a turn, you see how it's self-adjusting? That's basically what TSM is, Traction Stability Management. Now, I think I have this cranked up all the way, yeah, so you can see it easily demonstrated. Pretty cool, huh? So if you're a really good driver, it could be a hindrance, right? So maybe you want to adjust it down. That's where this little dial on the radio, you can adjust TSM down to whatever setting you wish to have. So TSM is similar to that little light on the dash that lights up on your real car that says traction control enabled. Maybe it's got that car with the little squiggly lines on it. Your car is automatically enabling traction control. Even though this is not automatic, it's very similar to that feature. We're adjusting how much traction control we want based on the conditions that we're driving in. Your car does that automatically. But it's very similar. You can adjust it from 0 to 100%, whatever you need. So we've gone over TSM, but we can adjust braking sensitivity, how strong the brakes are, steering sensitivity, drag braking, so when you let off of the throttle, the car will actually slow down for you. That's called drag braking. Throttle percent, how much you want to have. So like if you wanted to slow this down for a less experienced driver, you can adjust the throttle down. They also have a mode called training mode, which automatically adjusts the speed controller to 50%, and that's just pushing the button and letting the lights, finding the right light sequence to set that mode. So the TCOE radio, all of these features are programmable via the radio by button clicks, but can be really cumbersome that way. What Traxxas has done is they've added Bluetooth technology to Bluetooth this radio to an Android phone or an iPhone, and you can program all of those features on the phone with their app. Very cool, very easy. In addition to that, they have a feature called telemetry. You can add modules into these vehicles that give you real-time feedback of what the car is doing. More commonly found in nitro vehicles such as the Revo here, where telemetry items such as RPM, engine temperature, speed, battery voltage, where your battery's at, because those have an onboard battery to support the electronics because the engine is nitro versus electric engine here, or electric motor here. telemetry also feeds back to the phone. And there's a really cool dashboard that you can bring up on the phone and watch real time of the speed, whatever modules you have, speed, temperature, voltage, those kind of things. Very cool. So let's talk a little bit about throttle and brake. So like I said before, you can adjust the amount of throttle. You can also adjust the punch of the throttle. So if you want to add to TSM, the stability management system, by lowering the punch of the vehicle's throttle for low traction conditions, that can be achieved. It's very similar to traction control in a real vehicle. Where a real vehicle is using it, it has a built-in AI that senses the traction that the tires are applying to the roadway and adjusts accordingly. We have to kind of do that manually by feel, but once you've got it set, it's very similar to traction control. Steering sensitivity. Imagine you're running this on a big battery and you're going really fast. You may not want full throw of your steering, because if you're going fast and you turn the wheel the whole way, your car is going to be doing flips. So with steering sensitivity, and sometimes called throw, you can adjust how much steering you have. So at high speed conditions, you might want to adjust your steering down. Small tracks, if you were on a racetrack, small tracks with tight corners, you're going to want all the steering throw you can get. Another feature that is not actually available in this model, called exponential. What exponential is it does that automatically. You set your throttle curve and you set the amount of steering you want at different throttle rates. So if you're like at wide open throttle, you might set your exponential to say, only give me 15% steering. If you're coasting into a corner, or if you're off throttle, you would set your expo to say, at that condition, give me all the steering I need. So expo can be a very valuable tool in programming a car for the track or surface conditions you're running on.